In this segment, Stephanie Miller and her guests cover some of the latest big stories from the world of politics. Here's Stephanie.
One of the things we're seeing this time around, right, is Trump is doing things that are so flagrantly lawless, just so sort of facially wrong, that particularly in the lower court level, district courts, there's not really just a lot of room for the judge to even really apply much ideology. Like, you have broken the law doesn't do it. And what he wants is, he just wants made men and women, men more. And you made this point that I thought was so interesting, because one of the great weird things about the first part of this term for Trump is an absence of judicial nominees. And you sort of connected these dots about why you think that's the case and what it has to do with his beef with Leonard Leo.
It's a bit of a theory, and the theory needs to be proven out. I think reporters can do it. It's like theoretical physics, and then you have to test the proposition. But I think part of the reason why we're seeing so few judicial appointments thus far, as opposed to the flood that Leonard Leo and Don McGahn gave us 8 years ago, is that most of the people who are in the conservative legal establishment who are qualified to become judges, whether or not you like them or not, they're not qualified to Trump because they haven't displayed their loyalty. And if they have that Federalist Society credential, I think Stephen Miller said today, we're not picking people from the Federalist Society anymore. So they don't really have a pipeline, and they really have a limited pool of people. Trump's own personal criminal lawyers, well, there are a lot of them because he committed a lot of crimes, but that's still not enough to fill the federal judiciary. And Eileen Cannon, well, she's only one person. So he doesn't have a long list to pick from.
How the parties are different, right? Can I just say, JK says, James Comer told Fox News he's ready to issue subpoenas to 4 Biden staffers, possibly Jill and Hunter, in pursuit of his, quote, cover-up investigation. Depending on what he finds, he might send criminal referrals to Pam Bondi. Republicans are going down this rabbit hole while Trump's corruption is everywhere all at once. We are living in the upside down. I mean, truly, to your point, right, about the difference between the parties.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are thinking, well, we're waiting for that moment. There are a lot of people on the left, I think, are waiting for, I need that moment when it's really bad before I'm going to enter into the fray. There are a lot of progressives right now. I think they're just exhausted, right? We've been in this for a decade now, and I think we kept thinking we were going to get a breath. I think when Biden was elected, we thought we'll get to exhale. We'll get to take a moment and have a normal life. And then January 6th happens. Yeah. And everything since then, the urgency has never stopped. And so when you look at the problems of the left, a lot of it is just exhaustion.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, and, we had Carlos on yesterday, and of course we got our typical cancel Carlos because I don't agree with everything he said. Right. But Crispy Crunch says, please tell Carlos to stop talking about the Democratic Party electing moderates. It's the same dangerous path we've been down again and again. Most often the moderate doesn't win, the MAGA does. Democrats need to talk about the issues that matter to people. Moderate politics is what got us into this position. Being moderate drives us straight back towards the MAGA-verse. The electorate is more liberal than it is conservative. Democrats, we need to act like it is. I mean, I want to get your take, John. One could argue that Kamala Harris, when she started listening to consultants and campaigning with Liz Cheney and, which looked like, again, a move to the center. I mean, I think what happened is our base didn't turn out in the big enough numbers, right? I mean, Frangela always says, stop recruiting at Klan rallies. Let's get the people that don't vote, right? So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think there is something that we've lost. We've lost the ability to realize that our sense of rightness isn't going to translate to people who don't really have any understanding of us, any experience of us. And there are so many people who've been alienated from the political process. They're so disenchanted with everything political that I think we've got to find a way to use language that reaches people across those divides, people who are not going to be listening to this show, not reading my writing. And that's the thing that I think the Democratic Party has failed to realize, is that not everybody is paying attention, and they're not even hearing what we're saying. They're living in an alternate world where these voices don't even carry.
I mean, in your relentless writing of the most important things in the world, John, you have written yet another piece called Stop Waiting for America to Look Like What You Think Fascism Will Look Like. I mean, this is, argues to us not beating up on each other. I mean, look at what we're facing. You just said, they're looking for some shocking or violent moment to signal to them that now it's actually bad, that this is the time to panic. Short of these things, the perception of normalcy is sedating tens of millions of people into denial, complacency, and inaction. Our family members, friends, neighbors, and coworkers refuse to acknowledge or even believe how much we've lost in the last 100 days. The dismantling of 250-year-old systems of governance, the reversal of human and civil rights that took generations to secure, the erosion of safeguards and protections for people and the land, the suffocation of agency of citizens. I mean, I just think, I keep saying it, there's no hyperbole that is hyperbolic enough right now.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the myth of America that many of us were raised on is so deeply embedded in us, that exceptionalism is there, that we really find it difficult to reckon with the idea that we could be guilty of the sins of other nations in the past. And that denial is so thick and so powerful. And that, my neighborhood, I can walk in my neighborhood and America is deceptive in the way it looks right now, because right. You can go out there and nothing visibly seems to have changed and life seems normal. And it's trying to help people understand that is the last thing you're going to see. Tanks driving down the street. Once you see that, it's too far. And the only place that you can really push back against fascism is in the early stages, and before it has the power that it's going to have.